The topic is acute respiratory infection. Introduction. Inflammation of the respiratory tract anywhere from the nose to alveoli with combination of signs and symptoms. Respiratory tract can be classified into upper respiratory tract and lower respiratory tract. The classification of upper respiratory tract infection are common cold, pharyngitis and otitis media, whereas lower respiratory tract infections are epiglottitis, laryngitis, laryngotracheitis, bronchitis, bronchiolitis and pneumonia. Coming to epidemiology of acute respiratory tract infections, there are 3.9 million deaths worldwide. Leading cause of death in children less than 5 years is acute respiratory tract infections, and 9 million deaths in children less than 5 years occurs due to acute respiratory. Risk factors for acute respiratory tract infection are climatic conditions, poor ventilation, overcrowded buildings, poor nutrition, low birth weight, intense indoor smoke pollution and immunocompromised. Mode of transmissions are it is airborne route, and chain of transmission is maintained by direct person. Coming to pathogens that cause acute respiratory tract infections are mainly caused by the viruses. Viruses that infect the upper respiratory tract infections are rhinovirus, coronavirus, influenza, parainfluenza, respiratory syncytial virus, herpes virus, adenovirus, Boca virus and Coxsackie virus. Viruses that infect the lower respiratory tract are influenza virus, parainfluenza virus, respiratory syncytial virus, adenovirus, Boca virus and metapneumovirus. Bacteria that causing acute respiratory tract infections are Streptococcus pyogenes, Staphylococcus aureus, Klebsiella, Mycoplasma pneumonia, Chlamydia, Corynebacterium and Bordetella. Fungus that causes acute respiratory tract infection is mainly the cancer. Pathogenesis of acute respiratory tract infection. Pathogens present in the environment enter into the nose after inhalation of droplets. Hairlines in the nostrils filter and trap some pathogens. Some pathogens get trapped in the mucus and get transported to the pharynx. That causes the immune system activation and inflammatory response. The inflammatory response is shown by having fever, erythema, increased mucus secretions and coming to clinical features, there will be cough with or without sputum, sore throat, fever, headache, runny nose, malaise, hemoptysis, shortness of breath and chest. Coming to signs of acute respiratory tract infection, there will be congestion of the pharynx, post-nasal drip, enlarged tonsils, rapid breathing that is known as tachypnea, tachycardia that is increased heart rate, reduced chest movements, inspiratory crackles, wheeze and bronchial breath sounds. We can notice the congestion of the pharynx in the image and with the enlarged tonsils. Coming to diagnosis, diagnosis is by complete blood count to look for the total WBC count, look into whether there is neutropenia, neutrophilia, leukopenia or leukocytosis or there is any eosinophilia, and look into the chest x-ray for any lower respiratory tract infections in the form of there is any patch, whether it is homogeneous or non-homogeneous, whether there is any pleural effusion, etc. If patient has sputum, collect the sputum for microscopy and culture, and check for the random blood glucose levels, renal function tests and throat swab and blood. Coming to the treatment, URTI are most likely self-limited viral infections, so treat symptomatically with nasal decongestants and antihistamines with non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs. Maintain adequate hydration and inform to return if the symptoms are worsen or do not resolve in 1 week. Then suspect bacterial infection and consider for antimicrobial therapy. For lower respiratory tract, if it is acute bronchitis, 90% are self-limited viral infections. Symptomatic treatment is sufficient. Maintain adequate hydration. Bronchodilators if required. Inform to return if the symptoms worsen, and then suspect bacterial infection and consider for antimicrobial. If it is a pneumonia, then mainstay of the treatment is fluids for hydration, analgesia for pleuritic pain, oxygen for difficulty breathing. Empirical antibiotics should be started after sending sputum cultures and blood culture, and give bronchodilators for the symptomatic relief. Complications of the acute respiratory tract infections are empyema, lung abscess, sepsis, ARDS, pneumonic effusion or pulmonary edema, and death. Prevention of acute respiratory tract infection is by improved living conditions, better nutrition, reduction of smoke pollution in the indoor, and immunization. Immunization against measles, Haemophilus influenza B vaccine, and pneumococcal pneumonia vaccine. Health promotional activities can be done to prevent the acute respiratory tract infections. Now coming to diphtheria, one of the important respiratory tract what is it? Diphtheria is a nasopharyngeal and skin infection caused by Corynebacterium diphtheriae. Toxigenic strains produce a protein toxin that causes systemic toxicity, myocarditis, and polyneuropathy. Formation of pseudomembranes in the pharynx during respiratory diphtheria. Toxigenic strains cause pharyngeal diphtheria. Non-toxigenic strains cause diphtheria. Diphtheria is spread by droplet infection. Complicates skin lesions, especially in alcoholics. Remain localized at the site of infection, but release a soluble exotoxin, damages the heart muscle and the nervous system. Coming to etiology, diphtheria is caused by Corynebacterium diphtheriae, is an aerobic gram-positive bacillus which is pleomorphic. Club ends are present, non-spore forming, non-acid fast, and non. Coming to clinical features, the incubation period for this diphtheria infection is 2 to 4 days. Begins insidiously with a sore throat, modest fever, but marked cardia. The diagnostic feature is a wash leather elevated grayish green membrane on the tonsils. It has a well-defined edge and is film adherent and is surrounded by a zone of inflammation. The image shows the pseudomembrane, which is wash leather elevated grayish green membrane on the tonsils. It is firmly adherent and is surrounded by a zone of inflammation. There is the image showing pharyngeal diphtheria. This is the bull neck and non-tender lymphadenopathy showing in the image. Clinical features of diphtheria. In the acute infection, there is membranous tonsillitis or nasal infection or laryngeal infection or skin wound or conjunctival infection. Complications are laryngeal obstruction or paralysis, myocarditis, and peripheral. Coming to clinical features, in the mildest infections, especially where there is a high degree of immunity, a membrane may not appear and inflammation. Cutaneous and other sites of diphtheria. Skin infections are quite common in the tropics and are probably responsible for high levels of natural immunity found in these populations. Skin infections may manifest by a scaling rash or by ulcer with clearly demarcated edges. This is the skin infection caused by Corynebacterium diphtheria. Coming to anterior nasal infections, the blood-stained nasal discharge will be seen. Laryngeal infection, husky voice and high-pitched cough signal, potential respiratory obstruction requiring urgent tracheostomy. Spreads to the uvula and nasopharynx, the patient is gravely ill. Death from acute circulatory failure occurs. Late complications affecting the heart and nervous system. 20% of survivors will have myocarditis with arrhythmias or cardiac failure. Reversible with no permanent damage. Neurological effect will be seen in 75%. Starts from day 10 with palatal palsy. Paralysis of accommodation. There will be difficulty in reading small print. Generalized polyneuritis with weakness and paresthesia is in the next 10 to 4 days. The recovery. Coming to laboratory features, on routine examination there will be leukocytosis with neutrophils dominant, low platelet count, that is thrombocytopenia. Raise profiles of the serum enzyme tests and proteinuria were found in serious cases. Bacteriological examinations. Smear and gram stain can find Corynebacterium diphtheriae but cannot identify from the diphtheroids. Fluorescent antibody stain can found toxigenic Corynebacterium diphtheriae, favorable for early diagnosis but definitive diagnosis. Corynebacterium diphtheria can be cultured from the swabs from nose, pharynx. Coming to management, diphtheria is a notifiable disease and it is referred. Empirical treatment after swabs. Diphtheria antitoxins. Hyperimmune horse serum neutralizes circulating toxin. No effect on toxin already fixed to tissues. Empirical treatment is started after taking swabs. Don't wait for the results. Start on diphtheria antitoxin. This is given IM without waiting the result of the throat. Management. However, reactions to this foreign protein, potentially lethal mediated anaphylactic reaction can be seen. Serum sickness with fever, urticaria and joint pains which occur 7 to 12 days after injection. A careful history has to be taken. Small test dose should be given. If there is any anaphylactic reaction, treat with adrenaline, that is epinephrine, which is available in 1 ml of 1/1000 solution. It is given IM. Penicillin or amoxicillin should be administered after 2 weeks to eliminate Corynebacterium diphtheriae. Patients allergic to penicillin can be given. Due to poor immunogenicity of primary infection, all sufferers should be immunized with diphtheria toxoid following recovery. Strict isolation should be maintained. Attended by staff with a clearly documented immunization history until 3 swabs 24 hours apart are culture negative. Primary prevention. Active immunization should be given to all children. If diphtheria occurs in closed community, contact should be given erythromycin, which is more effective than penicillin in eradicating the organism in carriers. All contacts should also be immunized or given a booster dose of toxoid. Booster doses are required every 10 years to maintain immunity. Thank you.